preparation for exam, getting it right, doing it the right way. So basically, I think the first thing we need to talk about on this call is getting your mindset right. Okay? Because this is very important. Because if your mindset is wrong and you are not paying attention to what your mind is saying at a particular time, you can actually stop, you can stop yourself from moving forward and even stop yourself from passing an exam just because of how your mind is programmed at a particular time. So this is a very, very important thing that we need to actually pay attention to. So what kind of mindsets do you have about exams, right? What do you think about exams? And we're going to do a very quick round the room. What's your mindset? Like, what do you think about exams? How do you see exams, right? So let's have Onyeko. What do you think about exams? Just random stuff.
I don't like exams. I feel like the lecturer should trust us that we understand. Why do they have to exam us again?
Okay, are you saying what we saw on one meme the other day? Because I know this thing that you said now is from one meme like that. That exams because lecturers don't trust us enough.
It's
You
my
said
actual thoughts, though.
okay. That's quite interesting. Omawumi, please. What do you think about exams?
I think it's necessary, yeah, but at the same time, my general feeling towards exam is just a very tense and a period where you get to doubt yourself, a period where you cry. Like it's not a very pleasant period. Like, or even if you think that you know everything, or at least to an extent, you still will cry and it's very tense. Just like generally tense period for me.
Fikumi, Fikun. I don't know why I'm asking the me at the back.
Okay, for me, exams, I know that exams are necessary, but during exams, I usually have anxiety. I don't know. Even if I've read and like I'm sure, but there's this anxiety I have during exams. But I know that exams are necessary and like it helps you to actually track your growth and everything. But I don't know. I have anxiety during exams.
Okay. So basically, I hear you all, and I mean every student has these sentiments, at least one of the three sentiments that you guys have expressed in this room. And what I would say for that is that there is a formula to exams, right? That can really help you heal some of the anxiety that you feel. Fiko, do you want to say something? I can see that you're trying to speak. You have something you want to say?
Oh no, I'm not. I don't have anything.
All right, good. So there's a whole formula to exams, and you need to trust that you've prepared, right? So if you have prepared well, that gives you a level of peace. So you don't know what you're going to meet when you go into the whole standard. But preparing well, kind of helps you douse the anxiety a bit. Okay. Then for the part of exams are unnecessary and all of that, basically, it is just what they use to test you to move you to the next level. It's not a test of your general intelligence in life. It is not the end of the world. It doesn't determine your worth. Okay. I know that exams are necessary to get the grade that you need to, proceed to the next level and all of that. But a lot of people get very demoralized before, during, and after exams, such that they're not even able to function as people. And that's why I said that the first conversation we need to have on this call is the mindset conversation. How should you be seeing exam? Exams is just one of those things. It's something that you have to do. Yes. It's not a determination of your worth in life. But then you need to also approach exams with that mindset of, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it well. I don't care what they set for me in that exam. I am going to do this and I will do it well. I will come out of this exam very well. So again, the kind of mindset you have going in determines a lot. You cannot just go in, oh, anything that comes out, that's fine. Or it's okay, anything goes. If you, I mean, there's something I always used to say when we were in school, and a mantra that guided my life back then. The same that wherever you set your goalposts is how far you can go. So for every exam, for every course that I had to write, I would always say, oh, I'm aiming for an A. Did I get an A all the time? Probably not, right? But when you aim for as high as you can get, first of all, what that does to you is that your brain is reset, right? You see that, okay, fine. If I want to get an A, I can't just be doing like other people. I need to do something extra to give myself to get an A. I mean, there are a lot of things that go into that, right? So you're giving yourself that side. Because once you set that kind of goal that I want to get an A, of course, you know that the work strategy is different. Okay. And worst case scenario, what I saw all through school, take it from me that has gone through the process. The least I ever got was a C. Apart from when there was a math failure, oh, they just failed everybody kind of situation where I now got a D in a particular course. But there was no course where I got less than a C. Why? I always benchmarked myself at an A. So what you finally get out of and the C's were sparring. So is either I get an A or a B, and sometimes mostly B's, right? Or A's, and then you just see one C somewhere, maybe the course where I'm least prepared. And that was because I really set the target high. So if you set a C target now, for instance, and you prepare like you're going to get a C, because again, that mind of this is my target, this is what I want to do, also guides how you prepare. Okay? Because you say, okay, see now, I don't need to know everything. Yeah, if I read this topic, I read it. So you're now gambling. Because if you're preparing for an A, you know that, okay, I need to understand everything. Maybe not completely, but I need to have an idea of everything because a question can come out of anywhere because an A student is well-rounded, right? So that's something that you're looking out for. So what am I trying to say? Set your target high. Keep your mindset that, okay, I want to prepare like someone that wants to get an A out of this exam. Instead of a C, because if you prepare for a C, something can happen and you land on a D, you land on an E, sometimes you land on an F, right? But if you do prepare like you want to get an A, worst case scenario, you get a C. Or if they are trying to fail everybody, a D. And depending on the course and units, it's not that bad. I mean, a D was bad when it was a 4-unit course, but the previous results still, cushioned everything. So that's that about that. There is a formula. Trust your preparation process. Trust the work that you've put in. Put in the work. Set your targets high. Tell yourself there is no exam that wants to be set for you that you fail. Okay? That's a mindset to have. You can't fail. And they will set the questions that you know. I mean, those are things I always told myself that really used to boost my confidence and, douse the tension in me, right? I would just say, well, there's no way they will set it. And again, of course, I would have done my part in terms of preparation, right? But I'm like, there's nothing they want to set that I will not know. I must write something. For me, I always had that mindset that I cannot submit a blank script. Neither can I submit a script that will not bring forth, proper results. So again, that is where the beginning. So I use this, once it's too hard, you've already given up from the beginning, And there are times where I would even enter an exam hall. Look at the questions. They don't look like questions that I know the answer to. And I calm down, close my eyes, open it, pray over myself, and then go back again, to try to take a look again, a second look that, okay, what do I really want to do here? And then, things start coming up. Because again, I mean, that's something we'll talk about later, but let me not get ahead of myself. So that's the first thing, your mindset towards exams. So exams are necessary because that's what the university system has said as the way will determine how people will go from one level to another and determine how they will grade people. So regardless of how you feel towards it or feel about it, it's something you need to do. And if it's something you need to do, whether you like it or not, you have to do it. And anything you need or have to do, you have to do well. Okay? There's a certain level of excellence that should be attached to your name. So can we get feedback across the room What do you think? What have you learned so far before we move on? Because I need to do checkers. Yinka, you want to say something?
Yes, I do. So I just want to like kind of maybe reframe what I said earlier. It's
Okay.
not that I understand that they have to give us exams. That's like what's most country, I think, if not all, used to determine how people go from one level to the other. I
Mm-hmm.
just wonder about how they set the questions, because in most real world setting, they will not ask me for questions and then think that I should instantly know the formula to something. Those resources are available like liberally. So I think my main issue is the way they set the question, and they expect that you have
So on
on
your
all
head.
this information on your head and then just bring it out. And it's not just like, not that you know for maybe like one, like just two topics or something, but the fact that you know for seven topics in just one course. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier.
Say, yeah, I feel you. The Nigerian education system can be better. Okay. It can be better, right? But that is what we have on our hands. Okay, that is basically what we have on our hands. And again, I think that what will help in that kind of instance, in terms of, I mean, and this is me now also slipping into entering preparation and coming out of preparation, like how to prepare. It is in terms of, if you interact with something often, if you interact with something often and all the time, it will come easily to you, rather than trying to um just for the sake of argument, internalize it, just cram it for the sake of exam. Okay. Because one other mindset that we need to have is, I want to understand this thing for myself. I want to know what this thing is about. So again, what you know, nobody can take away from you. Okay. And there's also dealing with that mindset of, I just want to read to pass. Yeah, because I mean, this thing doesn't apply in the real world. But again, as I said earlier, anything worth doing is worth doing well. So if you're going to do the exam, you do it well. And how would you do the exam well? Understand because again, what you understand, you can write on, you can explain. So if you understand the formula, recollecting it will not be as difficult as when what has happened is you just looked at it, and trying to go, okay, x equals to y, x equals to y. I mean, it won't stick, right? But if you understand how it works, I can't really say much, because I mean, I studied law, right? I mean, you can tell that. But my point is, once you understand the reasoning behind something, you can always reproduce it. And anything you know for yourself, whether from school or after you leave school. Once you know something, you know for the rest of your life. The question is, and then now that you know something, there are some things that are called transferable skills and transferable knowledge. What you meet outside the world may not be exactly the same, but the reasoning that you have gotten from dealing with a mathematical equation, for instance, can assist you in dealing with things in the outside world, not the formula itself. So, which is why I'm advocating that you need to understand why you're using that formula in the first place, right? First of all, that will aid you in remembering the formula when you need to, and that understanding will aid you in the real world. Because there's always that complaint of, oh, where is almighty formula in real life, you know? So that's just what that is. Fikun and Omomi, do you guys want to say anything?
No, I have nothing to say for now.
Okay. Fikun?
I have nothing to say, but I'm following.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next point that we want to discuss here, which is centering yourself, right? And finding your source. School is not something to do in your own power. Take it from me. Because personally, there are times where school was a lot. Like when you say it choke, basically, it does that from time to time, right? School is very intense. And you need to be able to make reference to something that is higher than yourself. So I don't know what religion any one of us really follows in the room. If it's God you're holding, hold God. If it's Allah you're holding, hold Allah. My point is, you need to have something higher than yourself that you can rely on. And that's because, and I'm discussing these two issues first, the mindset thing and centering yourself in a source, because these determine more than your preparation, more than the things you understand, more than the things you've read. These two things, I mean, a lot of people can read. There are people in my class that knew more things than I did. I will not even lie till today. They will be speaking big, big English. I mean, the law students in the house maybe can relate, right? I don't know. But I mean, even for mathematical equations, there are people that seem to have all the formulas in their head. Like Oniko, Abi, are there people in your class that intimidate you, that seem like they know everything? But
I'm talking mainly about like financial accounting,
finance,
cost
either
accounting,
again,
and
are there
things
people in
like
your
that.
class that feel like you feel in your, like, from what you've seen so far, that oh, these people will sabi pass me, Abi?
Most definitely.
Yeah, no. Because sometimes the lecturer asks questions, there are some people that are very quick to raise their hands and they will get the answer. And you don't even know what's happening in the class. Like legit, you just came to class to understand, okay, well, let's learn this thing. And somebody is already answering what the lecturer is saying. And you're asking yourself, are both of us in the same class? What's I think something you also realize is sometimes people, it doesn't translate to exams because there is a formula to exams that people don't know, right? So some of that brilliance doesn't come out in exam and they don't still pass. But they know things in their head. So it's one thing to know, it's another thing to come out at the other end of exams with a very good score that can show that you know. Okay? You may know ABC and then exam, they will go and say DEF. What's the use of your knowledge of ABC? But connecting to a higher source, you can begin to get inspiration that, no, touch DEF. Because I will give an example of an experience I had in law school, right? Just taking it down to examples. There was a particular topic that was really difficult for me to understand. I was just like, this topic. So I learned the most basic part of that topic and I was not going to go into it in depth because just having it in my head was even a problem to even start it because there's a lot of information that goes into law school. And I'm sorry I'm using law because I mean, it's law I studied, so I'm just going to be making reference here and there. And it was just a lot of information. I'm like, see, I have to fight for the ones I already know and leave the ones I don't know. God is going to, and I mean, if out of 8 topics I've covered 6, what is the rest that I'm going to be struggling for? And what kept happening was I kept hearing people talk about bonds, right? There's a topic that was called bonds. And it kept getting highlighted to me. Like I hear it in conversation around me. Go and read bonds. Go and read bonds. What's in my, because I mean, it kept popping up. So somebody was just going to say, oh, what are the conditions for bond? And the person was using it as a song around me. And my brain picked it that, go and read this thing. But I was being very adamant. Guess what, children of God? I didn't read it. And the compulsory question for that particular course, that was it. And compulsory questions in law school is like 40 marks, 30, 40 marks if my recollection serves me well. But I knew it wasn't anybody's fault. It was on me. It was on me. It was basically me. So what am I saying? And it happened to me several times in university where I'm preparing for exams and the particular topic just keeps coming to me that, look at this topic. Centering yourself in a source higher than yourself is what will do that for you because you take a back seat and you're able to get pointers here and there. You pray, study. Different things will keep coming in your environment and you need to pay attention to what is going on. And when it gets really choked up, you need to go and, pray. Because again, some exams are spiritual things. There's nothing anybody wants to tell me. Because some people go into an exam hall, come out, they know so much, but they didn't write anything. They went blank. What happened? 3 hours sleep, somebody starts sleeping from the beginning of an exam and then wakes up at some point and they're like, Jesus, and they're trying to write fast. Praying before and just before you start your exam really helps sort out a lot of things. So whoever it is that you believe in, my point is make sure you pray while you are preparing, while you are reading, before you write that exam in that exam hall, because a lot of things happen. Things that people cannot even explain. Like things that cannot be explained in English happen during exams. So exams are so spiritual. You need to have a source. You need to have a center point. It helps deal with the anxiety. It helps deal with the workload. It helps, you also use it to get pointers on what you need to do. And, it just generally keeps you calm and creates a hedge around you. So that's another thing that we need to, before we talk about any other thing, those two things. What is in your head? How do you see yourself? When you see the end of that exam, are you seeing yourself as someone that has passed in flying colors, or do you see yourself as part of those that will still be begging the lecturer that, sorry, we did not make the cuts? Those are things that you need to really rewire your brain, regardless of how hard the course is, regardless of what it looks like. I will come out of this course in flying colors. Everything I need to know to come out of this course, I know them. And then you pray, and then what you're looking for comes to you. Because if you begin to think in a certain way, then you begin to attract, the things. You think it, you pray about it, you think it, you pray about it. You might just get a nudge, go and speak to this person. Go and do this, go and read this thing. Right? And it may not necessarily be, when I say I get a nudge now, maybe you are reading your book and one particular page keeps opening, or people start talking about this particular topic, and then you hear it once, you hear it twice, you hear it 3 times. Probably need to pay attention. So now that we've talked about those things, let us now go. Most of you here on this call are advanced. So I believe that you understand what you need to pass, because I had a header of a topic, what you need to pass, knowing, okay, I think maybe what I should address on this call is the answering questions in the example, because I was going to talk about, what you need to pass in terms of knowing what your CGPA is versus, what you need to do, and going on and going on. But in terms of exam, because I know one of the pain points that were highlighted on the forms was that, allocating time management, dealing with heavy workload, and kind of time management within and outside of the exam. That was part of what was highlighted, during the in the forms that we sent out for this program. So let me just speak to that. So I'm going to just share what worked for me in school, all through school, because we had 2 hours 30 minutes to answer 4 or 5 questions. Our courses were 4 unit courses, right? So when I say understanding what you need to pass, know the unit of the course that you are writing, because the kind of preparation you will give to a 1 unit course, to a 2 unit course, to a 4 unit course is different. Even to a 5 unit course, regardless of the unit. The preparation that you put into every one of those courses is different. Can we maybe say something in the chat so that I know we are following? Let me try to catch us. Are we following? Fikun, Omoumi, Lincoln? Are we here? Yes, okay. Fikun, thank you. Yeah, Lincoln, okay. Right, and Omoumi, I haven't heard I haven't seen your hand. I know I'm going to see your hand. So basically, we're talking about basically exams, right? So you understand that you have a 1 unit course, you have a 2 unit course, you have a 3 unit course, you have a 4 unit course. The preparation for all 4 of them can't be the same. Why? They carry different gravity. The implication of failing a 4 unit course is way higher than when you fail in one unit course. I'm talking about the impact it will have on your CGPA, right? So you cannot assign the same level of preparation to each and every one of them. Yes, so the amount of time you are assigned to studying for a particular course when you're preparing for exam is dependent on the complexity of the course and the units attached to it, the consequence if you fail or if you get a bad grade. Because again, we are agreeing on this call that no one of us can fail a course. Amen? So nobody is going to fail any course. That's what we are agreeing on. We are not signing up for failure. We are setting the goal as high as we want, as high as we can. Oh, okay, Omo is back. We're setting the goal as high as we can. And that's as high as it is, we can never get to an F. So we're removing failure from the equation, right? But we're trying to aim for as high a mark as possible. So when you're trying to prepare for a course, you're looking at the units, you're looking at the complexity. Unit because you are trying to determine what do I need to do to get an A in this course. And if it's a 4-unit course, you know you need to give it more time. So you do time allocation for your courses in terms of when you are preparing. So how many courses do you have? Let's take, for instance, you have 5, right? And we have 5 days in a week, okay? And your 5 courses, one is 1 unit for the sake of argument, because I know this is not an ideal. It's just for the sake of an example, right? You have a 1-unit course, you have a 2-unit course, you have a 3-unit course, you have a 4-unit course, and you have a 5-unit course for your 5 courses. And you have 5 days in a week. Well, 7 days in a week, right? Depending on what your schedule is, you have 7 days. And you want to allocate reading time. Which one of those 7 days do you have more time on? It's Saturday. There are no classes on Saturday. Sunday, if you go for church or whatever you go for on a Sunday, you are able to finish on time. Fridays, the classes on Fridays are not so much, right? So between Friday to Sunday, there's a lot of time that you can push into study. The 5-unit course should go into those days because it's the day where you have the most time. You can sit down, calm down, and read up on those things. The 4 and 5-unit course, you're going to have to divide it. Those ones will have to get 2-3 days, right? The 1, 2, 3-unit course can get, the 1-unit course and the 2-unit course can even be on the same day or get 2 days, one day, and when you've removed one day, you have 5 days. And then you can also read one of the 5 or the 4 or the 3 together with the 1, right? So whilst they have their independent days, they also have they would also have whole days, because if the 1-unit course, my assumption would be that it doesn't have a lot of material, okay? Apart from all these GST, some of these GST courses will now have plenty material, even though. So that's why I said complexity. And the complexity of the course. So hold on. Okay. It depends on the complexity of the course and the unit attached to it. So the day you set for the 1-unit course, because maybe it's not that high, it doesn't have a lot of material, you can put a 4-unit course together with it. So you read this from this time to this time, and then you read this from this other time to this other time. The day you set for the 2-unit course, you can read the 2-unit course all day, or you put maybe 2-unit course and the 3-unit course, you start on the 3-unit course, and then the next day you focus on the 3-unit course fully, and then the next day you do the 4-unit course. For variety, you add the 5-unit course, with it, so that you're not bored, because there's boredom that comes with reading, right? There's a lot of boredom, you can be reading something like, I need to see something else. I'm done with this for now, not necessarily because you are completely done, but because you're just like, you know what, I need to see something else. My eyes are paining me, basically. So you do that. So that's for preparation. Then in terms of writing an exam, I was mentioning Oyinka's Oyinka's network is fluctuating. Oyinka, are you back? Hi Oyinka, confirm that you're back. Oh, this is a new Oyinka.
It is the
Oh,
same way for my
oh,
network.
Your network, okay. But I saw that the names were now showing twice on my screen, so I was just like, okay, looks the same, looks different. Is the network back now? We're good?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about exam, right? So I was referring to, I'm writing a course, a 4-unit course. I know that is important. I've prepared, right? Okay. And I get into the exam hall. I have 2 hours, 30 minutes to answer 5 questions. Is it 4 questions or 5 questions now? Okay, so they give you 6 questions to answer 4. Sometimes you get compulsory questions. Sometimes you get just, okay, pick any 4 you like. Sometimes one of them will be compulsory, so you have 4 questions, basically. You have to answer 4 questions. And law, we write everything. We are going to write introduction, body, conclusion, so the whole thing, right? Sometimes you're writing as much as 3-4 pages to answer 1 question. So what do? I use 30 minutes per question. 30 minutes on question 1. Remember, I have 4 questions. So 30, 30, 30, 30, right? 1 hour, 2 hours. So that's 2 hours. And I always go with a wristwatch. I know nowadays they may not like wristwatches because some people can calculate on their wristwatch. Wristwatches have become really advanced now. And they may say, oh, no, we don't want you coming in with a wristwatch. So the idea is to get into the hall and sit where you can see the clock so that you can time yourself. Usually exams start at a round time, 9, 12. It's very rare to see an exam that is starting at like 2:30. So even if it's 3 p.m., 5 p.m., it starts at a round time. So you know what 2 hours is. From time to time, as you write, you look up. Okay? And my dear brethren, as soon as it gets to that 30 minutes, whether you are done or not, leave the question and move on to the next one. Because the lecturer has said, attempt 4 questions. Okay? If you attempt only 1 or you attempt only 2, no matter how well you write it, you can only get the mark allocated to 1 or to 2. And if that 1 question has 10 marks, best believe that they may not give you 10 over 10. And even if they give you 10 over 10, let's say you're answering 4 questions and you're supposed to get 40 marks out of all of them, 10 for the sake of argument, you're only going to get 10 over 40 or 20 over 40, which is not good enough, which will not get you the A that you're looking for. So what am I saying? That first question. Just once you get to 30 minutes, leave it. Start the second one. Leave space. You can always collect an extra sheet, to put there if you have more things to write. Remember, I've allocated only 2 hours. There's still 30 minutes that is hanging. Okay? That has not been that's unallocated. That's extra time, right? That can come back for you to fill up the other ones. So you go to the second question, you do another 30 minutes. And because you are wiser now in the first question, you are more precise with how you're going to write the second one, even if you're going to be doing all the finettes, right? You do the second one. Do the third one, 30 minutes, you stop, or even if you give it 5 minutes, 5 minutes. So for those extras, what I find out that by the time I'm done, I have about 15 minutes. So I go back to all the questions, if I'm not done, to start filling in the gaps, right? So there's an act to it. You cannot just leave it to chance and just be writing 1 question and just realize, oh my God, 1 hour has gone. No, you need to have that discipline to say, okay, what do you need? And again, you can even use the first 5 minutes to go through the questions and ask yourself, okay, what do I want to talk about in each of these questions? How do I want to go about answering these questions? First 5 minutes, between the time you enter the hall and when they share the scripts, you pray, center yourself. If you have a mantra you want to recite to yourself at that point in time, I can't feel. There's nothing they want to ask me here now that I don't know anything to. Know how I cannot submit a blank sheet. I must write something and I will come out well. Psych yourself up and then you start. And you are starting. You are looking at it. Okay, which question? And you are going for questions that you can easily finish first. Or, depending on how you want to do it, you can go for questions. Again, questions that can take your time. Because sometimes, make I no lie you, those 6 questions, I can know all of them, depending on my level of preparation for a particular, exam, right? And you know everything happening in those 6 questions. Standard. Okay. But the thing is, The next determination you need to do. So first of all, you're looking at the question, you're asking yourself, which ones do I know? First question. Second question will be, which one can I easily finish fast? Because there are some questions that you know that you are happy. This question, but you can't finish it fast. Like if you took head, you can get stuck, right? Because of time constraints. Because exam is not only a test of knowledge, it's a test of discipline, it's a test of time management, it's a test of many things. You are being tested on different fronts in exam, right? You develop a lot of skills when writing exam, right? Because you are looking at, discipline, fast thinking, thinking on your feet, and all of that. So the thing is, you are on that stuff and you're asking yourself, which question can I finish? So if you know all 6, if you know 5, which are my best 4? Best 4 in terms of I can answer them fast within the time allotted. The one that can give you headache is either you start it, leave it, and continue with other ones, or you leave it as the last one and then quickly write it. Another consideration you need to have for exams is understanding the lecturer you are answering that exam for. There's a particular lecturer, because again, you need to understand your lecturer if you want to pass. The same way for employees, when you are working, you need to understand your boss. Same principle, just translated. Understand who you are working for. Understand who you are writing the exam for. Some lecturers, there are some things that must show in their question. Some things, when you listen to them talk in class, you see the notes, you just know that this lecturer will go here. So there was this particular lecturer who is very particular about people's handwriting. You know that when you've written for 2 hours, your handwriting cannot be consistent. I said maybe you are very good, right? There's a way you start writing. You just want to, and the time has already gone, so you're just doing like this, to finish. And so this particular lecturer, because I know that if your handwriting is bad, the chances that you will mark your script with joy. First of all, whether you will mark it at all is the first question. Secondly, if you will mark it with joy and give you the mark and even actually read what you've written, because I know that's how that lecturer is. His questions, answer it first. If I know what is there, because sometimes they'll tell you have to pick a question from each section, because maybe like 3 lecturers would have taught you on that particular course, right? So who has dropped? Among me, maybe her network is bad. Let me just wait for a minute, see if she comes back. See if she comes back on the call. Let me see. So if you've been gaining stuff, can I see like a reaction or anything? Or if you speak up or write in the chats? Has it been useful for you? Okay, Fikun, I see your hand. When you call, oh, you raised your hand. Okay, Fikun, you want to say something? Okay,
Oh no! I didn't raise mine. It was my mistake. But it has
let me see.
been, yeah, it has been informative and very enlightening. So I'm
But
enjoying.
my point is, am I really giving you what you need? Because again, the next session we are moving into is you guys asking questions on your paper and me actually speaking to those actual questions, right? I think that's the next session we're moving to, because I'm just sharing general principles on preparation. So just if you have questions, please arrange them. The things that are really disturbing you in terms of how you are, doing things, what is going on with you at this point in time, okay? So we're going to go to that shortly, right? So basically, those kinds of people, you answer their questions first, basically, so that you avoid stories that touch, okay? And they're able to read your questions and they're able to answer you, as you should. So I mean, those are the things you are looking at in terms of arranging your time. So understand how many questions you have to answer and understand how many hours you have. If it's 1 hour you have to answer 2 questions, you can do like a 20 minutes, because you can't do 30 minutes because that's already 1 hour, because you need to leave a buffer for going back to your notes to see, okay, what have I written down? What am I leaving out? The last 10-15 minutes of an exam, or even if it's 5 minutes that you have, depending on how intense that exam is you just going back to what has been written to say, okay, what can I add? What am I missing out? Have I concluded this thing well? is there any other thing that I need to put in here, to really, really help me on this? Welcome, gifts. Welcome, gifts. So that's just what it is. I'm not going to go into the other things about classes because this is a whole thing, right? It's a whole, I mean, the preparation, we can't exhaust everything on this call. So basically, I mean, I've touched on different things for the actual exam, and then I know some people said, oh, reading is the problem. So is reading the problem for people on this call so I can speak to it, or if not? Fikun and Oyinkan. So let me also blow out the script so that we also know. So Fikun and Oyinkan, let me see. Let me also blow out the scripts. Let me see, so that I speak to. Okay. So I think Fikun have spoken to the, that's Oyinkan. Let me not mix you people up. Yeah, that's okay. So yes, Oyinkan, I've spoken to you. Remembering technical terms and formulas and feeling prepared. I think I've spoken to that. And I've also spoken to anxiety as well. I think I've spoken to that as well because preparation kills anxiety, basically, right? Centering yourself kills anxiety in your source, right? Um, Telling yourself, what you need to do and how you need to come out of it. And just basically something that you need to, and you will do it well. So what you tell yourself, what you believe about yourself, the mindset that you have kind of like reduces your anxiety, the level of preparation, because sometimes anxiety comes from you knowing that I'm not prepared for this exam. Like, you just know, there are some exams that, okay, I'm well prepared. Some other ones you're just like, oh, not so much, right? So anxiety can come from there, really. And just, just all of that. Omo is back. Hi, Omo, welcome back. I know. Welcome back. So I mean, basically, I want us to go around the room. First of all, do you have any questions? And are there other teaching issues that we have not addressed on the call so that I can address them here? Gift, you're welcome. Can you hear us? Hello, Gift. Okay. Gift, if you can hear me, you can introduce yourself in the chats. Are you trying to speak? We can't hear you, Gift. Okay, she has dropped off. Okay. So what I'm going to say is we're going around the room. You can tell me if this session has helped you. Oyinkan, I know you said you wanted to learn. Okay, no, was it you? Wanted to learn about financial accounting. It was you, yes? Was it?
Yes, I'm studying accounting.
So you said you wanted to learn about financial accounting. Yes. I will see about
Yes.
looking
I think
forward.
sorry, what I said was like having to remember all of the principles, all of the formulas, all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like having to remember all those ones were my issue. I think that's what I said.
Okay. So it was someone else that said, yeah. I mean, I've the technicalities, the formulas, and all of that. And I also think that you also want to one other thing. I mean, this is a general tip, not just for exams now, is learning from people who have gone ahead. That's also a way to prepare for exams, right? Let me just speak to this briefly before we go around the room. Who are those that have gone ahead? What level are you in? Maybe if you're in 200 level, find somebody in 300 level that would be your friend. And if you ask me, people that are doing well in that class, you will always know, right? find out, approach them, ask questions. Because sometimes you even have, if you have elective courses, there's some courses that are more difficult than others, right? And you don't want to go to the hard courses where the lecturers are hard and they're setting us esoteric stuff. So that's also a way to prepare for exams, even from choosing your courses, back from that, right? And then having all of that, right? So for you now, if you go to a 3 person now, if you're in, I mean, you're 300, you go to someone in 400, or and if you're in 500, you're calling somebody that is already outside school, like just your immediate past person, right? To ask that, okay, so how did you, this particular course, how did you do it? If you ask that, how did you do it to 3 or 4 people, you will learn 1 or 2 things that they did that helped them. That's apart from what I have shared now about you understanding the reasoning behind those things. But understanding the reasoning behind the formulas comes in handy from the beginning of the semester because, okay, you are reading, you're interacting with it. I mean, now, exam is close, right? So what you're doing now is call up those people who have, the people that just wrote the last exam, call them, ask them, sorry, this course, how did you do it? What should I look out for? What should I be doing? What am I supposed to read? Those are the kind of questions you should be asking. How did you deal with this particular course? What kind of formulas? And that way to also know what you should be focused on, especially because the syllabus is big, is looking at past questions. I know somebody highlighted that, but I'm not sure that person's on the phone. Looking at past questions. Should you look at past questions? Should you not look at past questions? I tell you that past questions are very important, extremely necessary. Because I looked at past questions as a student, and I noticed a pattern in past questions. The lecturers don't really come up with new things, except maybe 1 or 2 questions here and there, because as things change. If you are in a course that has progressive, things progress, things change, so things can move. The formula that people use, the almighty formula, has been the same. It has been the same since. Let's play. Okay? So what am I saying? And I noticed the ones that are most relevant is the past 5 years, or if you have enough time, you go back 7, 8, or maybe 10 years if you want to. Just look at all those past questions and ask yourself, which questions have been recurring? I let you know, if you try the thing I'm saying, you will see recurring questions. Go and try it. It may not have the same word. Some lecturers are like, for the sake of, for want of a better word, lazy. They just pick the same thing and maybe change the dates and time, and they just transpose it. Some people, they will change it a bit, but the principle is still the same. Maybe they will just add 1 more leg, maybe an E. It was A to D before. In your own set, it will now be it's E. You ask, where will you see past questions, right? That's where making friends with people that have gone ahead of you comes in. Though some of those people have past questions that they used to study for their own exam, especially those that are really passionate about passing, like you are, because you will not be here if you are not. Go and look for them. If you can collect the past questions for free, collect it, ask them, sorry, can I get this past question from you? Can you give me? Sometimes some other people would have booked before you. You will know that you're not the only one that is fighting to succeed. Okay, if I can't get it, can I photocopy? If you can't get someone, within the short time period, go to the library, that University of Lagos library or your LASU library. Go and ask. They have a repository of past questions for every year. How did I find out? I stumbled upon it when I was in school. I just noticed that people were going there. If I went to ask that, what's happening? And I saw past questions. I'm like, and I made a photocopy. So some people will have past questions from years back. The person that is stopping your class, that person has past questions. Whoever it is that is stopping your class currently, if you get close to that person, they have past questions. I can't share everything on this call, because we have time constraints and everything. But what I'm just trying to say is, go get past questions, prepare yourself, right? Look at it. Just take 5 years. 5 years, right? This is 2024, right? 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020, and 2019. From 19 to 23. Put them, look at all the questions. You'll see similarities. That would also guide you on what to read. I'm not saying that should be the only thing you should read, though, because new issues come up every year, right? You also want to cater for that. So you don't want to just focus on past questions, because that's the mistake some people make. They only read past questions. Don't fall into that trap. It's a guide, but it's not all. Okay? You've attended the classes, you paid attention. Attending classes is very necessary. You pay attention. Maybe you're not the kind of person that gets all you can from classes. You've read your book. You've attended classes, you've read your notes. You have basic understanding of what you've been taught on all fronts, right? You have your goals set. Now you go to the past questions and look at it. That, okay, if I was able to answer this question today, what would be my answer? So things I was doing then, I will take a past question. And when I see the questions that reoccur, I attempt to answer the question before the exam. So maybe I've seen a question on assault, and I'm sorry for using law as an example. Please forgive me. On assault now, for instance, that's year 3, think law thoughts. No. Assault and battery. Criminal law. Aha. Criminal law. Assault and battery. I see a question on it. I now see assault. I see assault in 2019 with maybe Tunde. And I go to 2020. And assault is a big question to one of the questions. I go to 2021. Assault is hanging somewhere. Maybe 2022, they now omitted it for. And I'll see it again in 2023. I'm like, I'm answering assault. Because if it appears in that 5 years, if it appears 3 to 4 times or 5 times, it's very important that the lecturers know that that's a problematic area and they will always set it. There are some questions that are sure bankers. I'm telling you. If you look at the past questions, you will find those questions. So at the barest minimum, those questions should be very easy for you because you would have practiced them very well before coming into the exam hall. That kills anxiety because you're going with an assuredness that, bad as bad. I'm going to be a star girl on at least 1 or 2 questions. Their daddies. Don't give me my language. But that is what it is, right? So you look at all those questions, we take them, practice them, because sometimes we have it in our head that we know how to answer it, and then you get to exam and you get stuck. Write it. It's very stressful, though. I would not lie to you. It's very stressful. Maybe you can write an abridged version. Because what I found that by the time I get to the exam, I'm remembering what I had written down in that question. In short, if I'm going to answer that exact same question in the exam, maybe with some variances, and what I'm picturing is what I had written as my proposed answer, and maybe elaborating on it. The cases I cited for the law students in the room, they will not leave my head. If I've cited a case in my answer, I can't go anywhere now. Even if you go somewhere, the example, what happened in the case that I know, I will explain it, because in law, you have to write cases or at least explain the principle in the case. I'll remember the principle, even if I don't remember the name of the case. Even if they will not give me the whole 1 mark, they will give me half. So there's an art to this thing. Exam was not meant to fail anybody. Yes, there are some lecturers that are exceptions, agreed. But exam is not set to fail you. And even if they set it to fail people, minus 2. So if you go and check all 5 years of the past question, and you don't see any similarity in any of the questions, send me an email and tell me, Adam, my own course is different, though. It's not the same. Send an email to us and let me see. Tell me. Then I will find another formula for you. Go and check it out. So when you see all those recurring questions, you're asking yourself, can I answer this question? And you actually attempt them. And before the exams, I go through those answers. Okay, this is how I want to arrange my thoughts if I have to answer this question in an exam. So for you, Onyekon, those recurring questions are the ones that you know that, well, this formula must be in my head. I don't care what's happening. So if you need to form an acronym to remember a formula, because there were times where remembering a case, like your own formula now for me is a case. right? There's a particular course that is based on cases alone. What's the name of that course again? I think it's law of thoughts. Law of thoughts doesn't have like any law per se, right? It's cases, it's case law, so it develops with cases and all of that, if I remember correctly, right? So you have to, if you're going to explain a principle, you have to say how it evolved. You know, this case, this is what happened. I can still even remember some of the cases that traumatized me back in the day, you know, and I'm not using them in real life. But again, like what I said at the beginning, what you know for yourself. Nobody can take it away from you. So those formulas, if you need to form an acronym, if you need to sing it as a song to yourself, those ones that you know that by God, they must show at the exam hall, whatever you need to do, fellowship with them every day, say this formula, this y minus x equals y. See, it's nobody's business because it is what you need to do to succeed. And that's how it is in life. Anything you need to do to succeed, you know, is when you get the A that people will now come and ask you, sister, how did you do it? When you are doing it prior to that time, people are going to say, oh, what's wrong with this one? Why is she singing? Because are you the only you won't pass? Are you the only one that is serious? There are many things they will tag you. Well, you know what you're going for. Because I tell you, you will have to be explaining yourself for a very long time if you don't come out with a good grade in school. You need to work extra. Because there's something that a 2-1 or a first class just does. It removes the first layer of argument as to how good you are. Then when you now get in, you now have to prove that you're actually good. Because you cannot just carry good results and enter and then start doing loud. But my point is, you don't have to explain yourself. People don't have to think twice about hiring you. You're not going to cut out of some opportunities because you don't make it 2-1 cut. So I know it's not as if life doesn't favor those who don't come out with a 2-1. That's not the point. But it makes things easier. It removes some talk from the room. And you just again, if you can, and which is one of the things that really made me start to do this, because if you can take away that issue, you've solved some of your problems. You can now focus on the real issues. Okay, how am I going to be a good professional? How am I going to, set myself? Because there's some opportunities that the benchmark is 2-1. And that's just how it is. Yes, the world is evolving. People are again coming to see the light in terms of, okay, it's not a test of intelligence, not a clinical. But some company policy, before it will progress to the point where, okay, let's remove the 2-1 mark. And again, what you know, the grade is yours. You don't lose it. So I'm going to stop here and, ask us if you have questions, if you have comments, and just so that we speak through issues. Is there anything that is bothering you about the forthcoming exams that we've not talked about? So let me hear back from you guys. So we'll go around the room. We can start with Omoumi, then we'll go to Fikun, then we'll go to Ikon. So let's go around the room. Omoumi, are you there? Hi, Omoumi. Hey, I'm sorry, the place you are is noisy. Okay, you can type in the chat then. You can type in the chat and tell us about if there's any other issue that you would like for us to address on the call. If you want to talk to me privately about it, that's fine. Or if we have really addressed, why you joined the call. If it was useful to you and all that. So you can put that in the chat. Fikun, can you go, please?
Okay. Thank you very much, Ma. Oh, sorry. Thank you very much.
Ma. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay.
For me, you've addressed the issues I had in prior to joining the call. So I don't have any questions right now, but my questions on anxiety, how to to go about them, were already answered. You've answered them in your discussion already. So for now, I don't have any questions on at all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Um, Oyinkan.
So, okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the section so far. I really appreciate it. And I think you've answered most of my question. And I I think I'll just wait a little for you to say more things. In fact, I think you'll be able to answer the last one. So when you do, and if you don't, I will let you know. Thank you so far.
Okay. Okay, so this session is going to end. Like my end time was supposed to be 4:50. It's supposed to be a 1 hour, 30-minute session. So the session is ending in 10 minutes. So if there's anything I've not addressed, now will be the time to tell me. And we have a feedback form. The link is in the chat. You can fill it and tell us what you think, or tell us any other thing that we can do to assist you on this journey. Basically, my mandate is to assist students, university undergrads, anything at all, right? So if you have any other thing you want to ask Oyinkan, please go ahead. Okay, Omorumi's network is, but she has dropped off. So is there anything I need to address again? Because I'm not talking, what I'm telling you, I'm saying I'm not saying more things. That we have come to the end. Let me officially say that we've come to the end of the discussion part. So we are in Q&A at the moment, right? We're in Q&A and all of that. So do you have any other thing?
Okay. I don't think I have any that. I wanted to say like thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And my brother sent me the link to join.
Oh, who's your brother?
Oluwakemi Adeyemi.
Oh, Kemi. Yes, Kemi was in my class, in my law school
So,
set. Yes, I know Kemi. I know
so
Kemi.
I'm very great, and I've been a member of like the CWA WhatsApp group for
Oh,
like
the
a
job
month.
post. Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm great. I'm happy that I decided to register. And so thank you very much.
I'm glad to be of help. So the email, the CWA email, is the email that was used to send you the invite and everything. So if you write to that email, I will see it. I will get the email. If you need to, reach out to us for anything, but I will see your email. I will address it if you need to talk to me. And since you're on the conversations with that group, you basically have my number. So if you need to chat me up at any time, that's fine as well. But I intend to do more sessions, so you guys look out for that. Because I mean, there's time constraints. I can't keep you here for 5 hours talking about what. So the most we can do is maybe 2 hours, which is what we've done now, which I mean can serve some purposes, but may not serve all, right? So, so that's for that. I intend to have a podcast, which will be launching sometime next week. To also talk about issues that people, different issues from when you enter to when you are leaving, right? Just different stuff, really. And as I said earlier, there's the young professionals newsletter as well. So I'm sure Rico would have seen it once or twice when I posted it on the conversations with other group, right? Because that one is just for young professionals and people just calling, oh, I have this issue, I have that issue. So that podcast is to settle, because I get a lot of questions, truth be told. People reach out to me, oh, how do I structure my CV? Oh, I want to apply for this role. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I'm in school. What do I need to do? I get all of those questions. So the podcast is to try to answer all the questions I've ever gotten in this life from young people. And that doesn't mean I'm even old like that. And people just feel like Ada will know. Let's ask Ada. And by the grace of God, Ada knows, or if she doesn't even know exactly what it is, she knows where you can go to get the issue solved. So I said, okay, let me stop answering the questions, just on one-on-one basis and try to, blow it up. So I'll be sharing a link to the podcast. I will write to you guys, all of you who registered, to send you the link to the podcast so you can also listen in and maybe share with people who you think would benefit from it um, in the long run. But we've come to the end. Please fill the feedback form. It will be very nice to hear from all of you, as to what you think, what you learn. And again, I'm going to be checking in, because you cannot just tell me that you learned. I will ask you at the end of the day, show me working, show me working. There has to be evidence of this call, right? So I will check in on you guys, and please, I don't know if you can put that in the feedback link. Maybe we need to update it, like when the date for your exam, the new dates, because I know some dates have been changed, right? When you're writing your next your exam, and then when you start your exams, you can also write to us that we are starting exam, pray with me, any challenge you feel. And I think one other thing I'm just going to say in the next few minutes is, don't allow the exam affect your mindset. If you're writing an exam back to back, maybe you have, this should be maybe my closing remark. Maybe you have 4 papers to write, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I think more law students will relate more, right, on that. Those 4 questions are happening back to, 4 exams are happening back to back. You cannot afford to be down after writing day 1 or day 2, because whatever mindset happens to you on day 2 will affect paper 3 and paper 4, which you might even be more prepared for. So whatever you do, once you finish an exam, pack the book, drop it, move on. I had a policy. I know they discuss the exam. What did you write in number 2? I don't know. How can you say you don't know? I don't know. You want to beat me? Or you can't collect the paper from the examiner? You can't do that. Because those things can depress you. Even when you've answered correctly, what some people will tell you, you start having palpitation, you will now be afraid. Don't communicate fear. Deep sealed. Other people can be talking. You can hear what they're saying. Don't allow those things seep in. I mean, maybe listen, but can learn 1 or 2. Who knows? But I mean, you've written the exam, so what can you, again? Number 1, you can't change it. It has gone. As some people say, let bygones be bygones until you buy gun, but don't buy guns. But my point is, let bygones be bygones. So every exam you finish, pack everything you used to prepare for the exam, put it under the bed or put it somewhere away from you. Pick up the new paper and start reading. Why? It's very important that your mind is able to lead you on the other one, because why would the quote unquote bad performance on one course stop you from being great on another course? But that happens to a lot of people, because in law school now, we write exams back to back. So if anything goes wrong on day 1, you fail the rest of the paper. Why? Your mind was not okay. You were still thinking about yesterday's paper. Please, as you come out of the hall, even if you're not writing your exams back to back, you have exam Monday, your next paper is Wednesday, or your next paper is Thursday. As you leave an exam hall, it's in the past. Even if you remember that you made a mistake, leave it. Go and meet your source, as we talked about earlier. Go and pray about it. Wash your hand, come out. Because there's really nothing you can do. What does worry want to do for you? It will stop you from being great for the others. So that's what I'm going to leave us with. If you leave the exam hall, everything you left, leave it inside there. If it's first semester, you still have second semester, you can learn your lesson, and that thing they're going to go and check the notes. That hello, you see you're checking. How will it help you? Can you go back and change it? The fact that you can't do anything to change it should let you know that you should let it go and go and pray. Whoever you pray to, go and pray. Let that person help you. That's why I said the exam is spiritual. There are just a lot of things that go into it, and all of that. And I trust that you guys will do well. You people are very determined people, and I'm happy to have you here on the call. Please let me know how it goes when the result comes out. Share the good news. Let's shout together, and also I will send the link to the podcast, every other thing, you guys will be added to the mailing list, and all of that. So if you want us to create a community for you, you can indicate via email, or I think maybe there's a question like that in the feedback form. I'm not quite sure now. But if you do desire for us to have that, closely knit community where we're able to, keep tabs, accountability, what's my goal for the semester, all of those things. There are plans that will roll out in time, to try to accommodate that. But hope you filled the feedback form, and we have finally come to our 1 hour 30 minutes mark. Yeah, thank you, Inko. Moumi, if you can you confirm that you filled the form? Moumi did not. Let me open the chat.
Like, can you?
Oh, you were in a noisy place earlier now, Abby?
Yes, I was, yes.
Okay, so now you're in a much calmer place. Do you have anything you want to add?
I said something about connecting with you later after the call.
Okay.
Yes, so, but I don't know how to go about that because I don't think I have your WhatsApp number.
You can send an email, the email that was used to send you the link. You send the email,
Okay.
then we can take the conversation further from there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Can you
Yeah.
confirm that you filled the form for me?
What form is that?
We need to repost it. Okay, I'm the only one on this call, so let me just repost the link. Copy.
Okay. This
Because you've been dropping off, you may not
form.
have seen it. Yeah, the feedback form. So this is it.
Okay.
Oyinkan has filled. Please fill
I'll
it.
fill it now.
Yeah. Fikun, have you filled it?
Oh, I'm currently filling it.
So we've come to the end. You can drop off the call. Thank you so much, and have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.